Hi everyone, in today's video, we are diving into Queenstown's first private condo launch in 7 years, surrounded by Million Dollar HDB, including the record-breaking 1.73 million HDB right next door. Many are wondering how will Penrith perform.
We will take you through the supply and demand trend in this area before zooming into the project itself. We will break down everything from key highlights to analysis of the indicative prices and analysis of the floor plan and insights you won't want to miss.
By the end, you will have a clear idea whether Penrith could be the right project for you. Let's get started. So within 1 kilometer of Penrith, these are the closest comparable projects. What I did is to select all the 99 years and within 10 years old. So this is Penrith, and then the next newest one will actually be Sterling Residences, followed by Queen's Peak. Then we have Margaretville and then Commonwealth Towers. Okay, supply-wise, right, buyers already have quite a few options in the area. Just within 1 kilometer, we have these 4 comparable projects. If we extend to 2 kilometer radius, that number will actually jump to 14 projects in total. This doesn't include the older projects or the freehold ones, which add to the overall supply. They are not real apple-to-apple comparison with Penrith. Looking at just these 4 condos within 1 kilometer of Penrith, most of the supply actually, according to the unit mix, come from the 1 to 2 bedroom units, which could probably explain why Penrith only start from 2 bedroom onwards. So that will cover the supply side. On the demand side, in the past year, there's been a total of 231 transactions across these 4 condos, which are the closest competitor to Penrith. We can see that from the take-up rate, it's actually pretty healthy. If we divide up the numbers, it's averaging more than 1 unit transacted every month. This shows a clear sign of consistent demand in the neighborhood. Overall, I would say that this is a location with consistent market activities and strong buyer interest. Especially those who are able to afford this area. It's a popular area among many of the buyers. Demand is also further supported by surrounding HDB sitting on healthy gains and also existing condo owners who are looking to move up from less prime areas. There could also be pent-up demand since the last launch was Sterling Residences back in year 2018. Next, let Alvin tell you more about Penrith.
Okay, let's zoom into the project detail itself. First of all, the developer is Hong Leong and also Guacoland. So it's actually one of the most well-known developers in Singapore. Some of us may know that recent project, Springleaf Residences and Lentor Central, they actually have achieved very good result. So they're actually well-known for their layout. They actually produce very good layout, which is very suitable for own-stay buyers. As we know, this is actually located in District 3, and then the expected handover is 2029. And we actually have 2 towers of 40 story each. The block-to-block distance is actually very good. It's about 60 meters apart. We actually have a basement car park and 2 levels of multi-story car park. And the car park is actually around 80%. Total, we have 462 units and the car park is about 80%. So not only that, inside this development itself, we also have a childcare center. I want to bring your attention to this 5922 square meter, which is actually the land size. Many of us actually feel that bigger land size will actually equates to a better profit. Sometimes when we see Project A and Project B, we feel that Project B actually makes more. It has a larger land size. So let's do an analysis here. So does bigger land size equate to higher profit? If we were to look at these 2 projects, Claiborne and Kentridge Hill Residences. Claiborne actually has a smaller land size of 16,000 plus square meter, whereas for Kentridge Hill Residences, close to 30,000 square meter. But if we were to look at the performance itself, Claiborne actually has achieved a highest profit of 900 over 1,000, whereas for Kentridge Hill Residences, 600 over 1,000. So Claiborne is significantly higher. Comparatively, Claiborne average profit is 372,000, whereas for Kentridge Hill Residences, is only about half. So it doesn't mean that the bigger land size gives you a higher profit. Of course, there's another thing that we should look into, which is actually the word visibility. How visible is the project? If we were to look at these 2 projects itself, right, I would say that Claiborne itself is actually situated right beside the expressway, AYE Expressway. So this is a very heavy traffic expressway. Every day, if you were to travel to work or to school, right, if you pass by AYE, you will definitely see this very prominent condo called Claiborne. So sometimes people may wonder, what is the name of this condo? It looks nice. So when I want to buy in the future, maybe I want to explore this condo. So it's something like a free advertisement. It's very prominently situated near to the AYE. Whereas for another one, which is Cambridge Hill Residences, it's actually located at South Buona Vista Road. For this road, right, it's actually not a major road. So people who pass by there, usually maybe they work nearby this area or they stay nearby there. So even for myself, who actually travel every day around the whole island for work, seldom I will go to this place. So some people may not know about this development itself. And also it's a low-rise development. So some people may miss out. Another example that we want to look at would be Treasure at Tampines. Few years ago, when it launched, a lot of people have the concern that this project, 2,200 over units is very big, or the design is a bit like HDB. But it's actually very prominently located. If you were to travel along the PIE towards airport, or from Tampines, you go to PIE Tuas, or along the small road, Street 11, you will definitely see this Treasure at Tampines. It comprises of many blocks and highest is 12 stories. So definitely you will notice this development over there. For people who are east side lovers, HDB upgraders, or those who want to stay in Tampines, a relatively new condo, their TOP only about 2 years, definitely they may want to explore Treasure at Tampines. And true enough, the highest profit achieved here is more than $1 million. It's actually a 5-bedder. And you may be wondering, no, it's not facing expressway, it's not a pool-facing unit also. It's actually facing towards the market area. So now let's go back to Penrith itself. If we look at the location, we are right beside Queenstown Primary School. Land size, I would say not too big, not too small, because for this area, Queenstown, Commonwealth, usually we don't see very huge land size over here. Then we look at the facing. If we look at the north, we have the best facing, which is the low-rise, landed, GCB, unblocked view, north facing. So definitely, this side, it will be the so-called more premium stack. That means the price will be higher. If we were to look at the south, its HDB comprises of 21 to 24 stories, pretty high, I would say. And on the right would be sky view, 47 stories. So for this project, right, if you want to look at view, I feel that you have to go higher, maybe at least above 27, 28 to have a really nice view. Unless you actually get this facing, then you will get to enjoy the view. We are also very close to MRT. I would say that within 5 minutes walk, you'll be able to reach. And of course, in Queenstown itself, there's plenty of amenities, food, supermarket, everything you have over here. Now let's take a look at the site plan. So as mentioned, we have 2 blocks of 40 stories. Developer also built a tennis court inside because right now a lot of development, they don't have a tennis court. Some of them have a pickleball court. So in between, we have 60 meters, which is very wide between the 2 blocks. And then there's a nice pool in between. So over here, my concern would be that the entrance will not be too grand because when you come in, you go to the car park and here you go out. So it will not be very grand entrance because imagine few years down the road when it TOP, right, your guests and family come or maybe the resale buyer come. Once they go into a very nice development, the guardhouse, the water feature, they may feel that it's a very nice development. They want to stay here. But for here, it's more of like, okay, once I come in, I go to the car park. It's a basement car park. And we also have level 1 and 2 multi-story car park. Childcare center will be located here. So it's actually separated. So here we will not have a congestion in this side. And all the units, they are actually north-south facing, which I think is a very thoughtful design. So we will not have any west sun. So before I pass on to Hazel for the floor plan analysis, you can actually scan this QR code to WhatsApp us for more information or to actually follow our social media page as well. So now I pass on to Hazel.
Moving on to the floor plan analysis. As mentioned earlier, for Penrith, they only start from 2-bedroom, and for their 2-bedroom, they only have 2 layout. Okay, one is a 2-bed, 1 bath, and then the other one, 2-bed, 2 bath. The 678 square feet premium unit, I actually find it more space efficient as it doesn't have unnecessary corridor space, such as here it's a bit long on the 2-bed, 1 bath layout. And also, for the 678 square feet, it's actually a dumbbell layout, meaning there are bedrooms on both sides of the unit itself. And I like that they actually both have direct access to the bathroom. So it's like 2 master bedroom in itself. Also for the 678 square feet, you have a separate dining area here, which the other one doesn't really have. I find the other 614 square feet dining space is a bit awkward. So with this separate dining area, I actually feel it adds on to the livability factor. In comparison, the 614 square feet will feel less efficient with a long walkway like I mentioned here, and also the less practical dining space. So if budget allow, right, I would say the 2-bedroom premium will actually be the better choice. Because as mentioned earlier, with many 2-bedrooms options in the vicinity, a good layout will actually make the difference when you go on to the resale market next time. Now I'll compare the Penrith 2-bedroom premium to Sterling's, which is the newest launch before Penrith. Both have the same stated size, 678 square feet. However, Penrith is actually about 6 to 7% larger because it doesn't include the aircon latch due to the harmonization rule. Okay, I would say the layouts are similar, but Penrith have an advantage. So both, like I mentioned earlier, both bathroom actually have direct bathroom access. One more thing is they actually have this storage cabinet at the entrance, which is quite nice to have extra storage space for a smaller unit type like a 2-bedroom. Now I'll compare Penrith 2-bedroom to Zion Grand, which is also in District 3 and the harmonized project. This is Zion Grand's layout. I forgot to mention it here. It's actually 646 square feet, so smaller compared to Penrith. Major difference is this actually does not have a kitchen that is tucked to one side. It's actually run along the entrance, which I feel is less efficient. Overall, I would feel that the Penrith 2-bedroom actually offers better space planning and functionality compared to Sterling and Zion Grand. Okay, now let's look at the standard 3-bedroom size of Penrith. There are only 2 layouts, and the main difference, if you can see, is just the kitchen. One is 5 square meter, one is 7, slightly bigger, and the living spaces, one is 26 and 30. So this is the 2 main difference between these 2 layouts. I would say that the 850 square feet layout actually offers better privacy. As you can see, you cannot look directly into the unit from the entrance. So both layouts actually provides a very good bedroom size. They are all the same. 8 square meter for the common, 12 square meter for the master, same even for the smaller bedroom type. One thing I like about this 3-bedroom layout is also that both actually have a dining space that can fit up to a 6-seater. Between the 2, I would say the 850 square feet would be a safer choice. For 786 square feet, on paper it might seem a bit small, so I'm thinking it might face some buyer resistance when it comes to resale. And then this could discourage even people calling up for viewings just by looking at the stated size. Unless it's priced attractively, if not, I would think that the 850 square feet will still have a stronger long-term appeal. Now I'll compare Penrith to Sterling residences. Both are 786 square feet, but for Sterling, this will be a 2+study configuration instead. So in this context, right, I will feel that the 786 square feet of Penrith will make more sense because instead of a study, you have a proper bedroom and you also have an enclosed kitchen with window and also a proper dining. For Sterling, it is a study, there's no enclosed kitchen, and the dining space is also much smaller. So I would feel that the 786 square feet layout of Penrith will actually appeal more to buyers who only need 2 bedrooms, but I actually find it sensible to just stretch their budget a bit to get the 3-bedroom, which usually will be out of reach for them if it's bigger in size. Okay, moving on to the 3-bedroom premium, I'm actually quite impressed how much they can pack into this 936 square feet layout. It offers all the essential you need in a 3-bedroom, like the enclosed kitchen, and then you have a store, you have a yard, good bedroom size for all the bedrooms. So for this layout, the price quantum is expected to be more manageable. And because the size is actually very similar to the newer 4-room HDB, it will be a familiar and easier move for the upgraders. So if we compare it to the 1066 square feet unit, I would just say it's pretty similar, maybe just a more luxurious version of it. So the main difference is actually the bigger living room size and the master, which is bigger. You have a walk-in wardrobe and also an overall bigger bedroom in this area. So the choice between these 2, I would say, boils down to ultimately the budget. Now let's compare Penrith to Sterling again. We can see that the paper size are quite similar, one at 1066 and the other 1055. Layout-wise, also quite similar. The biggest difference is the utilization of space. So comparing the two, Penrith actually prioritized the space more in the master, giving you a bigger bedroom size space and also a walk-in wardrobe over here. As for Sterling, it actually offers a bigger balcony that extends into the other bedroom, which some buyer might find it not as functional. Okay, next we move on to compare with Zion Grand. On paper, size also quite similar, 1066 versus 1055, but for Zion Grand, that would be their 3-bedroom premium plus study. To me, that is actually quite a dream layout because what they managed to do is to include the study just next to the living area, which opened up the living space to be a landscape view. So this is quite rare for a 3-bedroom. Usually you only get such layout for 4-bedroom and above. So for Zion Grand, they also try to minimize the corridor space. You can see from the floor plan, the entrance actually have a very short walkway. And also because they placed one of their bedroom on the opposite side of the layout, so this shortens the corridor space compared to a typical 3-bedroom unit. Overall, I would say that this Zion Grand's layout actually outperformed Penrith. It offers stronger, better functionality, yet at a smaller overall size. Lastly, let's move on to the 4-bedroom. There are only 2 layouts, and the main difference is actually in the kitchen, slightly bigger, one 9 square meter and the other 10. And then more obviously will be the 1281 square feet actually offer a landscape living space, which open up the living area, and this can actually fit up to a 8-seater dining set, compared to the other 1173 square feet, which fits up to a 6-seater. A key highlight is that most development actually see a square feet difference about 200 square feet between their standard and premium layout. But for Penrith, it actually managed to deliver the premium upgrade with just 108 square feet. So this smart design actually keep the overall quantum more attainable. So for this reason, the 4-bedroom premium stand out as the better option. The landscape living and the dining configuration actually allows the buyers to have a more spacious and luxurious feel, allowing them to enjoy a more premium lifestyle without actually having a substantial jump in the price quantum. Comparing the Sterling, they only have this 4-bedroom layout, which is 1346 square feet if we exclude the penthouses. So if we take into account harmonization, this 1346 square feet is actually quite similar to the 1281 square feet of Penrith. I would say that both layouts actually have their own strength. For Sterling, it actually have a nice touch of a junior master, while Penrith actually compensated by having direct bathroom access for all the bedrooms. Here, and then of course for the master. Although the detailed size breakdown for Sterling isn't available, but from the floor plan you can see that the kitchen appears to be larger. They have a wet and dry kitchen segregation, so this will be helpful for families who love cooking. Penrith, on the other hand, actually allocate more space to the master instead. So you can see you have a walk-in wardrobe space here and also a more generous overall layout. Ultimately, the choice between the two, I would think it boils down to personal preference, as both offer quite strong functionality and practical living for families. Now we look at Zion Grand. For Zion Grand, the 4-bedroom layout isn't very comparable to Penrith and is clearly targeting a different group of buyers. All 4 bedrooms and above units for Zion Grand come with private lift, and even after harmonization, the smallest layout also start from at least 1421 square feet, which is this one that we are looking at right now. So for Zion Grand, this is definitely a more luxurious and premium option compared to Penrith, offering everything that you will need for a high-end 4-bedroom unit. By comparing the different bedroom types against a resale Sterling and then to a fellow new launch Zion Grand, I hope it gives you a better understanding on how you can analyze and identify the layout that best suits your needs. Next, Alvin will touch on the price analysis.
Now I will touch on the price analysis. So before COVID, right, the price between the new launch and resale condo is actually more than 30%. But ever since after COVID, right, some people actually have the urgency to move into the house faster, earlier. Therefore, the difference actually has reduced to about 10%. So if we were to look at this chart here, Claremont versus the Clement Canopy, they are just beside each other in Clementi. The difference is only at around 10%. So what happens if we get a brand new condo at that point of time, for example, Claremont, at just a 10% premium above the resale condo, which is the Clement Canopy? You can see from here, Claremont actually performed very well. 100% profit, and also, as mentioned just now, highest profit more than $900,000. So now we take a look at the prices for Penrith. The indicative prices is starting from 2437 PSF. Again, we compare to the nearest, which is Sterling Residences. For Sterling, the transaction for 2-bed has already hit 1.98 million. And this unit is a 2-bedder, 786 square feet. So bear in mind that this is actually a pre-harmonized project. If I were to convert it to harmonized project so that we can compare apple to apple, I will use 786 square feet minus 7%, which is the aircon ledge space. The actual usable space will be 731 square feet. So I use the transacted price, which is 1.98 million, divide by 731 square feet. That will give me 2708 PSF. So if I were to buy Penrith today at a 10% premium, it will be around 2978 PSF, about 29 to 3000 PSF. So I would say that if you can get something that is roughly about 10% or 15% higher than the resale transaction that has already been transacted and accepted by the buyers in today's market, is actually quite safe. And if you look at the prices here, our 2-bed is only starting from 2473 PSF. So it's actually quite a big buffer from 2004 PSF all the way to close to 3000 PSF. Anything that is more than maybe about 15%, I leave it to you whether you think it's still okay to go ahead or not. And also bear in mind, for Sterling Residences, which is the next newest kit in town, 786 square feet pre-harmonized is actually a 2-bed. But today, you can actually get a 786 square feet, which is a 3-bedroom brand new. And the layout is also very good, which Hazel has touched on it just now. Next, we look at the 3-bedroom. Then again, for Sterling Residences, 1055 square feet has already transacted at 2.718 million, above 2.7 million. Sterling Residences is actually a pre-harmonized project. If I convert, I minus 7%, that will give me usable space of 981 square feet. If I use the transacted price, divide by this 981 square feet, that will give me 2771 PSF that has been transacted and accepted by the buyers in this area. So a 10% premium will give you around 3000 to 3001 PSF. But the 3-bedroom for Penrith, they're actually starting from 2511 PSF. So then again, anything more than about 15% or 20% is really up to you, whether you want to go ahead or not. It also depends a lot on your queue number, if let's say you are going for the ballot as well, for day one pricing. Next, we will look at the biggest unit, which is the 4-bedroom. 4-bedroom for Sterling Residences has transacted 3.55 million, 1346 square feet. I use 1346 square feet minus 7%, which is the pre-harmonized, the aircon ledge space. That will give you a usable space of 1251 square feet. 3.55 million transacted divided by 1251 square feet. That will give me a PSF of 2837. This has been accepted in this area, Queenstown area. 10% premium will give you about 3001 to 3002 PSF. Penrith pricing for 4-bed, 1173 square feet actually starts from 2623 PSF. So from 2006 PSF to about 3001 PSF, we actually have quite a good buffer. Of course, being a 40-story, 2-block 40-story project, I believe the higher you go, the higher PSF you will have to pay. So this will be more towards the top few floors lah. I guess will be maybe about above 30 floor. So just to add on, when we compare the 4-bed, there's only 2 types, 1173 and 1281. As Hazel has mentioned just now, the difference is only 108 square feet. And if we were to look at the floor plan itself, one of the very important factor would be a landscape living room versus a portrait living room. So this is usually more preferred because when you come in from the main door, it actually looks very spacious and very wide. This is usually for the bigger 4-bed premium size or the 5-bedder. And usually the price difference can be like 500,000 to 600,000. But for Penrith itself, it's only 108 square feet difference. So if I multiply by the starting from PSF, which is 2623, the price would be about 280,000 to maybe about 300,000, which is actually much lesser than the norm of 500,000 to 600,000. So this will actually make more sense if you are able to afford. I would suggest that this one will be better for the 4-bedder. Next, we also look at the exit strategy. There is no doubt that in this area, Queenstown, Commonwealth area is actually a very popular area due to the close proximity to town, to Orchard Road, and it's really very convenient. So we also have one of the highest million dollar HDB area, which I think we all know, in Dawson area, Queenstown area. We actually have a total of 167 volume. We are just behind Bukit Merah and also Toa Payoh. And recently, the one at Dawson actually break record of above $1.7 million. Not only that, we are also close proximity to Dover and Holland. And Holland, they have transacted above 1.3 million as well. So all this area, there's actually a number of newer HDB. They are waiting for MOP. And when they have obtained their 5 years NOP, right, most of them will actually love to stay within this area and they will upgrade nearby. So Penrith will be the newest brand new condo that they are able to upgrade in maybe few years' time when you want to subsale or upon TOP when you want to sell in the future. And there's above 3,200 units that's going to MOP between the year of 2025 to 2027. So these are your potential buyers in the future that will be able to sell their HDB at a very high price, above 1 million, and they will be able to afford your condo, which is Penrith, and they're able to buy from you in future.
In summary, Penrith is located in an area with healthy demand. Although it might not have the most striking features or design, it does offer practical layout and strong functionality. The developer's indicative prices are also attractive, with strong support from the resale.
As this layout appeals to more own-stay buyers, who are the majority in this neighborhood, we believe that the buyers for 3-bedroom and above will benefit the most in this project. With a variety of options nearby, a longer marketing period may be prudent for future resale. Overall, Penrith is a project worth considering, and we expect it to perform well on its launch day on 18 October itself.
We have come to the end of the video. If you'd like to discuss further whether about Penrith or any other property matter, feel free to contact us. You can scan the QR code over there, and see you in the next video.
See you!